Folks, what rating would you be if you didn't blunder pieces? A bliss ideology, I know. Bask it in and think about it for a second. But really, would you be 1500? Would you be, 2000, 2200, 2500, 3000 plus? We don't know. Because all the top level players they blunder pieces too. They're just like us in that regard, which is comforting. Let's take this position for example. It's a weird one. It's the Mongolian defense, those of you that are opening nerds. I don't know what that is. I've never even heard of it, to be quite frank, before I played this game. But already I'm unfamiliar with this position. My pieces are on good squares, but weird squares, squares that I'm not really too clued in with. And I go queen e2 here. Now, my keen eval bar watching dweebs, you will all know that bishop d4 has just blundered a piece. I did just blunder a piece. I am rated 1959 during this game, and I've just blundered a piece on move 12. Why? The simple fact is that my brain is overloaded. This is the crux of the problem. Why you blunder pieces, why I do, why anyone does. My brain here is overloaded trying to understand this position. I know here I am better, I can sense that I'm better, but I just can't quite figure out where the chip through is. I think perhaps I understand that I need to do this and go queen e2, get a bit excited and jump in straight away. But the fact is, my brain is trying to work out all these different ideas at once. Trying to get the bishop to safety, trying to ensure that my king has a luft, trying to bring the rooks to the center. All these ideas swarming around in my head, and they all kind of mash together like a tsunami wave, and I splurge out queen e2. Better yet, my opponent goes d6 anyway. Life is now good again, and that frees me up to take the bishop. But why did my opponent not take the free piece? Again, could be same situation. The likelihood is they don't understand this position, because I've never seen anything like it before. It's weird. It's very, very weird. And although you may be a 400 elo numbnuts, your brain is still calculating and working things out in the background. Again, you may not realize this, you may not understand this, but your brain is constantly processing things. The cogs are always turning and rolling so that you can try and understand what is going on in front of you. The more curveballs you throw at it, pinging baseballs at the side of your temple, the more convoluted the issue becomes. That is when pieces disappear and fizzle out. If I may provide you with another example, here's a rook endgame that I'm completely winning. Fantastic. I know I'm completely winning because I have two pass pawns that are just soaring their way up the board. And here in this position, I go rook f2, try and cut the white king off. Granted, I am low on time, so that does add to the pressure. But I tell myself, if rook a4, I will go rook d2. I have to defend this pawn. Admittedly, after rook a4, h5 is winning as well. I'm not a computer, so we can forget that. Rook a4, I will go rook d2. It's the simplest path to victory. It leads to a forcing win. After e3, if the king comes in, you just push the pawns forward. It's pretty straightforward. So why, after we see rook a4, why then go rook e2 and blunder away my win, and now we're just in an even endgame? Why do I do that? Well, again, because my brain is trying to process many ideas at once. I'm trying to keep this king cut away, trying to bring my king forward, and overload, this complete frenzy of ideas. But I missed the one key point, which I told myself just 10 seconds earlier. Got to keep both these pawns guarded. The only way to do that is rook d2. Again, I panic, splurge out a move, rook e2, and I mess the whole thing up. Now these sort of problems can stem from the opening as well. Here, I play queen b6, which although the computer says it's inaccurate, I play queen b6 all the time in these Caro-Kann lines. I just like it. I find that it's Always good if they take. You can take with either piece, really. Got checks at your disposal. All of that's irrelevant. My opponent here goes a3, and something clicks in my brain. A little spark goes off just right here that says to me, don't take that pawn. Because although I don't know the line specifically with a3, I have a little inclination that if I take that, my queen is going to get trapped. And I don't know why. I don't know what the follow-up is for white. So what do? I take the pawn anyway. Now we see the follow-up. Knight a4. My queen has no squares whatsoever. You can look at them all if you really want to. But the fact is I have nowhere to go. And I have just blundered my queen on move 9 in an opening that I actually am familiar with, except for one little detour here, one curveball. Again, it comes back to this whole thing, curveball. If you leave your pieces on weird squares, if you play opening lines that you aren't at all familiar with, it's more information for you to process. Stick to basics, just play normal sensible moves. Don't try and play outlandish tactics that may or may not get you a +1 advantage, because it isn't worthwhile. You just create more of a spin. If you play simple, play normal moves, develop, calm, your opponent will be the one to flop it first. They will sacrifice something, they will be the one to blunder a piece, and you will be there ready to know, because you will know where all your pieces are.